Alright, Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem Yahushai, Bahashem Wakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles, bishops, and elders of Great Millstone who teach and rule well. And peace, love, and salutations to the Akim that's out there laboring, that's up the hopeful elect, that's doing this work in truth and sincerity. And what you have here on the screen is pretty much a video from this individual by the name of Peter Centinello. He is a YouTuber, and pretty much he goes around the country and even around the world, and he gets an inside perspective on different people's lives, different cultures. He has pretty good content on his page, and we're seeing now pretty much where he's been, doing things on this side, as far as, here in Babylon and traveling around the country. We're seeing different lifestyles and how so-called these Babylonians, these Americans are living, pretty much in these last days. So pretty much now you have where he documents, pretty much people will invite him out and into their world, pretty much. And right now he's sitting shotgun in this van, and he's talking to this individual right that you see on the screen. And he pretty much videos his experiences in these different places. So right now this scene that I'm about to introduce, this is pretty much somewhere in the West. I perceive it's somewhere in Arizona or Utah. Now, this individual, he's not really want to give the name of the town because pretty much it's a place where, he found refuge. And he's basically originally from New York. And he wanted to get out of the city and have pretty much freedom. He felt like the city was pretty much, bogged down. He wanted to get away from the rat race. He wanted to go out and be self-sufficient. Okay? And pretty much he's speaking to this individual, interviewing him. Okay? And he has a camera on him. So now we're going to go into this dialogue. And we're going to see the people that really pretty much he is affiliated with, and pretty much how they're living in these last days. All right. Pretty much I'm gonna post some scriptures, during the segment, and get some edification, out of this whole thing. All right. So I'm just gonna play it midstream, and let's see what we can do with this through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bashem Abushai. So without any further ado.
Down when I need to make money, or helping out my buddy watching the farm at his auto shop, because we have a couple head of cattle, a garden, so I tend the fields in the summer and everything and get all the free beef I could ever ask for. I've been doing construction my whole life. I do everything: mechanicking, plumbing, painting, sheetrock, rock work, carpenter by trade. I was trained as an electrician.
Okay, so you said there's some Airbnbs out here.
Mm-hmm.
If someone's gone, like everyone knows it's a rental, aren't some people in town gonna break into it or any of that sort of thing?
Nah, because everyone's watching. We're in the Wild West. Everyone's armed, so you gotta understand, if you do something wrong, someone will take care of business if it needs taken care of.
I mean, they're not shooting them, but they're just getting out of town, or what?
In the past.
In the past out here, yeah, of course.
Yeah, but they'll escort them out of town. They'll scare them out of town. They'll do whatever needs to be done to get people out.
So the police...
Now I'll tell you this right here. He had mentioned that he asked him where was the nearest police station. And this individual replied, over an hour away. Okay, so this is a self-sufficient town. They govern themselves, and this is what drew this New Yorker out here. A sense of freedom. Okay, you know, these red-blooded patriots, man, they know what's going on. Pretty much, they know that they are gonna have to pretty much come up against you know, that unseen hand, so to speak. You know, that's gonna come down with great wrath, and they're getting themselves prepared for that. You see? All right, so let's continue.
Manages itself,
Basically.
without police.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Look at this place. Built into the mountain. Wow. Look at this art up here. US West is no longer. Look at this in the store. What a cool place. So you take the gold back here. So
Yeah, and it's pretty much is set up like almost like a store slash bunker, so to speak. You know, you see the store is pretty much built into the mountain. Okay, you know, and you know, these people are going out in uncharted lands and seeking refuge. Now he's gonna speak to this individual behind the counter, okay, and we're gonna get her take on what's going on. But we're gonna line these scriptures up. You know, I had them in order, but we're gonna go in the order of how this video plays out. Okay, so without any further ado.
Oh, this is very cool. A guy I met up in Provo, I believe it is. This is his business. This currency is being used in 5 different states. And he said even out here, it's being used. Obviously, your store. It's beautiful.
Exchange rate is $4.08.
It just goes to the gold price?
When something happens, I will have backup, and it will be tender. Will be legal tender.
So I believe there's actual gold in the currency. There's like
Yes.
the actual gold is in there.
From what I understand,
Yep.
that's how they determine a 1 or a 5 or a 20.
How much gold is in there?
Is in this.
This
when
will-
they tell us we can't use the paper money anymore, all we can use is a card.
I only operate on cash, and I've run into it numerous times
They're
where I can't
close
buy
to it
stuff.
now.
And we know that this is all leading to the MOTB. Okay, now they understand, these Edomites, they understand, man, that the pretty much the cashless society is coming, man. You know, so what's the problem with all these other guys, man, with Nate and all these other guys, man, where they pretty much are not telling the congregation about what's going on, because the MOTB ultimately is going to be the end game. Okay, that's going to be the last move that E makes, okay, to pretty much establish his order, so to speak. Okay, now you have these red-blooded patriots that are getting prepared for that. So you're seeing where she has some money that's pretty much legal, all right, amongst these communities within 5 states. Okay, where they can take and spend this money, and this is what he's actually doing now. He's actually going to take that gold money, okay, all right, and purchase some things with it. Okay, so these people are pretty much preparing themselves to be an alternative, okay, to the MOTB. Okay, these are people that pretty much are going to resist against the system, man. You know, all right. We get a scripture real quick. This is 2nd Esdras, chapter 15, verse 16. For there shall be sedition among men, and invading one another, and they shall not regard their kings or their princes, and the power of their actions shall stand in their power. You know, and that's pretty much what they're doing, man. They're taking things amongst themselves, man. They're governing themselves, okay? Any outsiders that try to intrude, they try to handle it, you know, okay? You know, again, the nearest police department is over an hour away, and he's not coming out. She said he, which is like one guy. He's not coming out unless it's something that's serious, you know? Okay, so pretty much these people are governing themselves, okay? You see? So you're seeing now where we had that legal tender, right? Okay, so let's continue on to what she's speaking about with this.
So you think there's that push to get us all in plastic and
Oh, yeah.
get rid of the paper eventually?
How many times this year and in the last 3 years that they said we're having a coin shortage? We have a coin shortage? No. You're just telling people that so they will not use coins and use their card because you can't get your change back. And cash goes to many other people.
That's
the
how.
Card only goes to the bank.
And business, a lot of non-business owners don't understand when you use plastic, you as the owner or the store has to pay 3% or whatever. So the bank, JP Morgan or whoever,
All that money.
is making all that money. And if you get everyone on that,
Yep.
they're bankrolling.
Right. They can control what you spend because they can shut your account off anytime.
They're doing that in Canada.
We saw that in Canada.
It's the same thing we're speaking about with Alan Russo, man. When that interview, man, you know, pretty much, you know, he was speaking about that sea hip, man. Okay, and he pretty much said that they control you, man. To where it's like, you know, if you don't cooperate and want to integrate within their new society, man, they're just gonna turn the chip off, man. You know. Okay, so these Edomites, they're being prepared, man. They understand what's going on. Okay, you see? All right, so now they pretty much are setting up their own alternative currency, so to speak, to be able to deal with each other. All right, within buying and selling. So this is Revelation chapter 13, verse 16. And he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads, and that no man might buy or sell save he that have the mark, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name. You know, and pretty much, man, you know, it's gonna be that pretty much that incision, okay, within your hand or your forehead, okay, a branding, so to speak. All right, and pretty much, man, you know, the Lord said, you know, not to take it. All right, there's a judgment if you do take it. And pretty much, I think she's part of the LDS community. I think he may bring it up. And it's pretty much a break-off faction from pretty much the Mormons, or it's pretty much a loosely based, you know, attached to the Mormons. But pretty much, man, they see what's going on here, man. So they are already trying to get ahead of the curve, so to speak. Okay? So they you know, they see it. You know? All right? What's the problem with you other guys out there, man? Okay? Let's continue.
Last year.
And they can track you. They know where you're going. They know what you're doing.
You really think it's getting that bad?
Yes.
You think it's going there?
It's going there.
10 years?
Yeah.
5.
That's one benefit being out here. You're sort of removed from a lot of it.
Oh yeah, we've already seen it. We had a flood 2 years ago, and everybody from the county, everybody from the town helped everybody else. And it will be that way too, because we have a lot of people that believe they're patriots. They're patriotic people, and they believe that this country's going downhill fast. And the ones that don't believe that are the ones that are living on welfare and off of the government and need the government to take care of them.
And this is the reason why they're going self-sufficient, though, because they understand that pretty much you dependent on the government is pretty much going to put you in a tight spot and bind you. Okay, you know, this is their strength, man. You know, when you're in debt, you know, this is where they have the power over you. Okay, because you're a slave to their debt, their loans, so to speak. Okay, so these people are pretty much trying to break free, get ahead of the curve, and break free from the system, man. You know, okay, but pretty much Yahweh Bashim Abishai has other plans for these people, man. You know, okay, you know, these people think that they're going to get away scot-free, man. You know, but we understand that you know when that time comes, and they're gonna mention it too. Later on in this video, about you know, the plethora of people that came from the city out into the country, man. Okay, and they're pretty much getting themselves prepared for that as well. You see, right? So it says, real quick, it says, verse 17. This is 2nd Esdras chapter 15, verse 17. And a man shall desire to go into the city, and shall not be able, for because of their pride the cities shall be troubled, and the houses shall be destroyed, and the men shall be afraid. You see, and this is the one thing that happened during the whole thing when the pandemic came. People fled from the city, man, and went out to the country, man. We had people that went out to the country and was buying property at record numbers, man. Because the city is pretty much the last place that you want to be when you have such a crisis going on, man. Okay, everybody understands that, though, man. That's just a way of nature, man. Pretty much everybody is on top of each other, and packed into these neighborhoods and overpopulated, okay, you see, and people pretty much needed a space, and as far as the cities were pretty much chaotic, man. So these people are pretty much getting themselves prepared. But let's continue.
And we outweigh them. And what's scary is that we only have a certain amount, like groceries. We get groceries once a week. If something happens and everybody starts coming from the city like they did in COVID, because they all came out here during COVID.
Oh.
Then that takes our supplies away because they don't bring stuff with them. They think they can buy it here.
Okay.
And we only have a certain amount because we can only get supplies once a week out here. So that's going to be a crunch. But there's enough of us that can band together, and there's enough of us that still know how to kill a chicken and cook it for dinner.
Colorado.
Butcher a cow. We can...
You can make it work.
We can make it work. And what I don't know, my neighbor might.
Mm-hmm.
If I don't remember how to can a tomato, there's 4 other ladies in this town that can. And we can all have gardens, and a lot of people have put seeds back in their storage and stuff. So
these are pretty much some of these people are pretty much preppers, and they have maybe the little bunkers set up, okay. So these people are pretty much out there in the Wild West in the country, pretty much getting themselves prepared, man. You see, okay. But we know that the day of the Lord is nigh, man. Okay, here it is. We're in the last days, man. We're seeing the breaking down of society. We have people that's pretty much going out into these lapidated areas, seeking refuge, man. Okay, these were once prosperous cities and towns. Preferably due to the gold rush, so to speak. But these are abandoned towns that they're now inhabiting and pretty much are seeking refuge, okay, and getting themselves armed and prepared, man. Okay, for that time, man. Okay, this is Zephaniah chapter 1, verse 14. The great day of the Lord is near. It is near. It hasteth greatly, even the voice of the day of the Lord. The mighty men shall cry there bitterly. The day is a day of wrath, a day of trouble and distress, a day of wasteness and desolation, a day of darkness and gloominess, a day of clouds and thick darkness, a day of the trumpet and the alarm against the fenced cities and against the high towers. And I will bring distress among men, that they shall walk like blind men, because they have sinned against the Lord, and their blood shall be poured out as dust, and their flesh as dung. Neither their silver nor their gold shall be able to deliver them in the day of the Lord's wrath, but the whole land shall be devoured by the fire of his jealousy. And what's the fire of his jealousy, man? Those ICBMs, man. Okay, you see, all right. The Lord created the smith to blow the coal, man. Okay, all right, and create this the instrument of the Lord's indignation, man. Okay, and we're seeing how pretty much nuclear talk is pretty much the main part of mainstream media right now, man. Okay, it is just a normal talking point. All right, it's not nothing that's under the wraps or anything you got to go into alternative news to find out. You could just turn on the regular mainstream media news, and they're speaking about nuclear escalation happening. Okay, you see, right? It says again, neither their silver nor their gold shall be able to deliver them in the day of the Lord's wrath, but the whole land shall be devoured by the fire of his jealousy, for he shall even make a speedy riddance of all them that dwell in the land. Okay, so the Lord's pretty much gonna make a speedy riddance of this place, man. Okay, this place is pretty much on its last legs, and they pretty much know it too. All right, so when we play the rest of this video, and it's only I'm only gonna play for maybe a few more a minute or so, and they're gonna get into it, man. Okay, all right. This man knows. These people know. Okay, these red-blooded Babylonians, they know that this place is done, man. Okay, you see, and they knowing that they pretty much are getting ahead of the curve and preparing themselves, man. All right, let's continue.
It's mostly LDS here, right?
I would say half and half.
You're LDS, right? Yeah.
Well, Margaret accepts me, and I'm not.
But he's okay. I mean, I can talk to him and tell him what I think, and
He's proved
The LDS is pretty much a faction of the Mormons, so to speak. Okay, so they pretty much know what time it is, man. Okay, but you got so-called other groups out there that's in the truth that are not speaking about these things, man. Okay, they act like it's not nothing that's to see here, so to speak. Okay, all right. The sheep are not being warned, man.
It's Worth in town.
oh yeah, he has, and we're pretty good friends.
That's cool.
So, but the bigger towns are different because most people in the bigger towns are very standoffish and they're not as trusting as the people in the smaller towns. But we seem to manage pretty good out here.
Thank you. Take care.
See you later.
Margaret's great. She feels like maybe the grandmother of the town or something.
I love her to death. For sure.
What a cool place. Well, I'm starting to feel the vibe of the town. Leave me the F alone. Don't tell me how to live. Which I can respect for sure.
And that's really what it is, because when there are problems, that's what they stem from, is people butting into other people's business. It's like that guy, he's just camping there. He's been there for a week.
And that's fine.
That's pretty much the gist of it right there, man. Okay, so you're gonna have sedition among men. Okay, because this man is gonna come down with great wrath because they know that he had but a short time, and pretty much come out from behind the curtain, man, and state his gangster, and imply that, okay, and carnally, okay. So you have these people that's pretty much prepared, man. All right. So I'm gonna end it with one more scripture. This is on Revelation, chapter 6, verse 12. And I beheld when he had opened the sixth seal, and lo, there was a great earthquake, and the sun became black as sackcloth of hair, and the moon became as blood. And that's pretty much when we're speaking about those nuclear missiles, man. Okay, all right. This is what this is getting into right here, right? It says, and the stars of heaven fell upon the earth, even as the fig tree casteth her untimely figs when she is shaken of a mighty wind. Okay, we're speaking about that east wind coming, man. Okay, all right, from that thermonuclear blast. All right, it says, and the heaven departed as a scroll when it is rolled together, and every mountain and island were moved out of their places, man. And that's how much this place is gonna rock to and fro like a drunkard, man. Okay, you see? All right, pursuant to Isaiah the 13th chapter. Okay, that's what's coming to this place, man. You see? Right? And it says, and the kings of the earth, and the great men, and the rich men, and the chief captains, and the mighty men, and every bondman and every free man hid themselves in the dens and in the rocks of the mountains. And we're seeing that right there, man. Okay, we're actually seeing a convenience store, okay, which is pretty much buried into a mountain, and which would double as a place of harboring goods for the last days, man. Okay, you know, these people out here are pretty much are preppers, man. They haven't said the word prepper, but by the way she was talking, they are pretty much preparing. Okay, all right, planting seeds, you know, storing seeds, you know, planting their own gardens. Okay, trying to be self-sufficient, though, man. Okay, you see, all right, but the Lord has other plans, man. Okay, you see, and it says, right? It says, right, that every rich man and chief captain, mighty man, every bondman and every free man hid themselves in the den of the rocks of the mountains, and said to the mountains and rocks, fall on us, and hide us from the face of him that sitteth on the throne, and from the wrath of the Lamb. For the great day of his wrath is come, and who shall be able to stand? You see that? Okay? And this is what these people are going to be doing, man. Okay? These people are going to say they're going to have come into that point in time where they're going to have them want the mountains to fall on them, man, and hide themselves from the face of the Lord, man. Okay? You see? So, you know, pretty much, man, all of this is for naught. But we're seeing how sedition of men is going to materialize, man, at the end of the day, man. Okay? So, pretty much, I'm going to end it right there. And I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem Yahushai, Bahashem Wakakwadash, Shalom.